Hello again, and welcome to Geek Vice, the official podcast of the Boston Tea Party. Why not? I'm drinking. We'll just say whatever we want. Anyway, your host, Morph, the man who wishes the Boston Tea Party was a today event. I'm just not very funny today. I just don't know what my problem is.
Just laughing at the sure off the wallness. You tell me that's more than glass number one.
Unfortunately, it is just glass number one. It looked like tea. That was the only reason I said Boston Tea Party. I don't know what my problem is. I'm going to blame it being on Monday and.
We record every Monday, Kip. You can't use that as an excuse.
It sounds like a good thing to use as an excuse. Jeez.
Oh, man. Well, here we go. We can start this off. Welcome, everybody, to Geek Vice, episode number 72. A podcast by two geeks just trying to be heard in a world now flooded with geeks. As you've already heard around, I'm Morph, your bartender for the zombie apocalypse. That man over there is Kip, a man boldly going from the couch to the kitchen and back again, and drinking whiskey tonight. Good evening, Kip.
Good evening, sir. How are we doing?
Doing pretty good, actually. You know, it's been a fun week. Sporting Kansas City got their first big win over the weekend, so that was good.
Nice.
Against a team with way too many letters in their name, which is NYCFC. Yeah, it's another one of those Yankee knockoffs. They're part owned by the Yankees, so you already hate them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as you see NYC, the hatred just, starts right then and there.
Yeah, exactly. So that, and then I got big news for everybody who doesn't give a shit about my family. My oldest boy is now riding his bike with no training wheels.
All right. Just a week after his dad learned how to.
I know. Now we can go on bike together. It's awesome. We've been bugging him for probably about a year now to try it. And finally, just over the weekend, Saturday, we got him to ride for the first time. And yesterday, he started riding on his own without me chasing behind him and just doing laps in the street. So, and tonight he did it again. So he is turning into a regular bike rider.
Well, just remember that day and see how quickly it goes till he's driving a car.
Yeah. Oh, well, he's already told me. I really think what happened was last week he told me he wanted to learn to ride a dirt bike because he has a couple of friends that have dirt bikes. And now, granted, his friends are a couple years older than him. Well, my response to him was, well, I'm more than happy to teach you to ride a dirt bike or have somebody teach you how to ride a dirt bike. But you have to be able to ride a regular bike and stay up on two wheels first.
Motivation.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden he can ride his bike. So I'm going to wait. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to wait and see if he remembers our deal and that comes back to bite me in the ass and he gets to learn to ride a dirt bike this summer or if I can push it off till next year.
Well, at least he didn't say he wanted to be able to ride a dirt bike because he's robbing a bank and he needed a getaway vehicle.
Yeah, exactly. Next thing you know, he's going to be wanting to play Grand Theft Auto, and I don't know what I'm going to do.
Oh, the joys.
Don't you wish you had kids now?
No. No, and the world is glad that I didn't. So,
So, Mr. Kip, what do you got on the agenda for us tonight? Ow.
Well, this weekend was a little bit chillier here in the old KC town, and the wife was under the weather, so we took advantage of that and just stayed in the house and watched movies and TV shows. We will call it the weekend of slugness, because that's all we did. We just laid around like slugs and watched the boob tube.
I like that somebody else calls it the boob tube.
Yeah, the boob tube.
I always get funny looks when people when I call it the boob tube.
Well, I call it that because that's what I'm always hoping to see when I turn on the TV.
I don't actually know why. I think my parents just called it that, and then I started calling it. So I really don't know the background of that. I don't know. Maybe
Me
that's.
neither. I think my parents called it that as well. So
I think that's might be a topic for next week. I don't know.
why is it called the boob tube?
And I'm telling you right now, you do a Google search for boob tube, and that is not a good thing.
Don't do it at work, people. Don't do this at work.
Whoops. All right. Anyway,
So,
what else do you got?
we started out. We had 3 movies lined up that we got from the library: Dracula Untold, John Wick, and The Raid 2. So the first one we watched was Dracula Untold. And it is basically as it says, the untold story of Dracula, and there's a reason it was untold. You didn't really need to hear it. It stars Luke Evans. He plays Bard in the Hobbit movies, and he's one of those guys you see his face like, I've seen him in stuff, but you never knew what his name was. It's Luke Evans. And he plays Dracula. He plays Vlad the Impaler, who is now pussy-whipped homeboy and with no army. And the Turks come and tell him that we want 1,000 of your boys to resupply our army. And then he takes too long to answer, so they decide it's 1,000 plus 1, and the plus 1 is his son. So he goes to the mountain where this vampire lives and basically says, I want your powers. The vampire gives him his blood, tells him you've got 3 days. If you don't drink human blood, the powers are temporary and no harm, no foul. But if he takes human blood during those 3 days, it's permanent, and he's stuck that way. So he uses the temporary powers pretty much to win the first battle all by himself. Takes out like 10,000 men all by himself. The battle sequence is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. And then
It's not good when it's just okay. Battle sequences are supposed to be what keeps you in a movie.
Yeah, but you're watching this going, okay, there's 10,000 men, and he whips all their asses. So it's hard to shoot that.
Right. Okay.
So I'll give him that. And then the head Turk, played by Dominic Cooper, as you would know as Tony Stark's dad in Peggy Carter and Captain America.
Little Howard Stark.
Howard Stark. Howard himself is now a Turk, and he's trying to steal boys. We won't go into why. And so he decides this cannot
Wait a
stand.
second, I think he was doing that in Peggy Carter too.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
We got ourselves a problem. So he takes his whole entire Turkish army, and Dracula takes all his people and takes them to this keep and hides them. It's kind of a little bit of Helm's Deep kind of a thing. And it's on the 3rd day, and the sun is rising, and there's only so much he can do. His powers are running out, so he decides that he needs to take human blood, and unfortunately the only person nearby is his dying wife who fell off the cliff. So he drinks her blood, and then he goes apeshit and kills everybody, including Dominic Cooper. So, if you wanted to see it for your traditional vampire, scary guy movie, this isn't it. If you wanted a love story with a vampire that doesn't sparkle, here you go. This is your movie. We got done, and we both looked at each other and went, well, it didn't suck, but that was about all we could say. So if you can get it for free, watch it. What the hell? If you have to pay for it, never mind. Move on. And go and get the second movie I watched, which is John Wick.
Really?
John Wick, starring Keanu Reeves, believe it or not, is a really good movie. And I
Really?
think maybe because Keanu Reeves, I think, says 20 words in the entire movie. So they knew what they had, and they made a script that worked. There was no whoa or whatever he says. Basically, the first 10 minutes of the movie is a Disney film. He's with his wife, the love of his life. She dies. So it's just like Disney. And then in her last will and testament, she bequeaths him a puppy. Cutest fucking dog on TV, to be honest. And he's got this badass 69 Mustang that is all souped up, and he goes to the gas station, and he's got the puppy with him, and this group of Russian gangsters pull into the gas station. One of them offers to buy his car. He tells him it's not for sale. Pisses the guy off. That night, they show up. They beat him. They kill his dog. They steal his car. So, for all those who are old enough to remember Chuck Norris movies, Chuck Norris never got pissed until his dog got killed. John Wick does not get pissed until his dog gets killed. So, the best part of the entire movie was there's this chop shop owner played by John Leguizamo. Is that how you say that? Close
Yeah,
enough.
I think so. I know who you're talking about, though.
Yeah, he's the chop shop owner that this Russian spoiled brat takes his stolen 69 Mustang to, and the guy's like, no, just get this car out of here, and then ends up punching the kid in the face to try to bring home the point. Don't want this car here. So the kid runs home and tells his daddy, who's a big-time Russian mafioso who is very powerful and connected. And so he calls said chop shop guy and says, did you punch my kid in the face? And he says, yes, I did. And he's like, well, why did you do that? And he's like, because he stole John Wick's car and killed his dog. And the Russian's reaction was, oh, and then hung up the phone. So you knew at that point, right then and there, the body count was going to be extraordinary. And it did not disappoint. And the fight scenes bordered on comical because of the way he dispatched of people. I mean, he's in hand-to-hand combat holding a handgun, and then everybody he killed was like 2 shots to the core, 1 to the head. Every one of those fuckers. I don't know. What I'd say killed at least 50 people.
Dang.
Yeah, and that's pretty good because, how many bullets can be held in a clip?
Yeah. I
figured,
don't know. Last time I checked, you're looking at maybe 7.
I have no idea. I'm not a gun owner.
I mean, I'm not either, but I got a few friends that are, and one of them might actually be listening. Hey, good evening, Beef, if you're watching. And yes, his nickname is Beef,
Well, why wouldn't it be?
but he's not for dinner.
Okay. But anyway, so you figure 50 people, 3 shots apiece, 150 bullets. I think he went through 3 clips. So those are either great, the smallest bullets you ever seen that fit in those clips,
Yeah.
or maybe we just need to suspend belief a little bit. I don't know. But it didn't matter.
I know. That's always been one of the probably the most common problem with action movies with guns in them. They never reload nearly enough. But hey, I'm okay with that.
I am too. And then he runs out of bullets, and then he kills a guy and takes his gun, and just keeps going. It's awesome. But there's a few times he should have died, got lucky. William Dafoe plays this sniper that pretty much has his back the whole time, and Adrian Palicki plays this female assassin that's trying to collect on the bounty that the Russian puts on his head. I mean, there's some good people in this. And it was just a lot of fun. I mean, if you can get past the 50-round clip and the jerky head motions that Keanu Reeves did during some of the action scenes, if you can get past that, you'd enjoy the movie. I had a lot of fun with it.
So tell me, action scene wise, are his action scene in John Wick as good as his action scenes in The Matrix? Because I'm pretty sure those are the only two movies I've ever seen Keanu Reeves actually do anything considered action.
Well, I saw 47 Ronin, and that was some action in there. They were just different. In The Matrix, there was a lot of that slow motion, faster than a speeding bullet kind of thing. And in John Wick, he was robotic.
Really?
And I think that might have been by design.
Kind of on purpose?
Yeah. But it's Keanu Reeves, and every now and then he does the Bill and Ted head movement, and you're like, ha, it's Keanu Reeves. But you just have to ignore that. Yeah, you just have to ignore it and just go with it. And it's a lot of fun. And the best part about it is he's John Wick, so everywhere he goes, people in the underground, the bad guys, all know who he is, and they're freaked out by him, which is kind of the way you want your hero to be. I mean, the Russian head boss was like, oh, fuck. And then John Wick checks into this hotel as his home base, and it's basically a hotel for assassins. And the big rule is you don't do any business on hotel grounds, and it's just the way you want an assassin movie to be. It really is. I enjoyed the shit out of that movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the cast here. You got Keanu Reeves, you got Willem Dafoe, you got Dean Winters, Adrian Palicki, John Leguizamo. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people in here.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of cool.
The guy who plays the mobster's son, I don't know what his real name is, but he played. He's in Game of Thrones. He played.
Charles Dance plays Tywin.
He plays no. The kid who talking to the wife.
Theon Greyjoy.
Yeah, he plays Theon Greyjoy in Game of Thrones. People may know him as the guy who got his dick chopped off. But he plays the mobster's son who starts this whole thing, and so there's some people in there. You're like, I know who that is. I know that guy. I know that person, and not a lot of them are huge household names, but you see them, and you're like, yeah, I've seen that guy.
Yeah.
So that works.
That's cool.
And and he wins exactly what you want out of your hero movie. So if you get a chance to see it, do it.
Yeah, that's kind of important. He kind of needs to win. There's not much of a movie if the hero loses.
And, you probably don't want your 5-year-old son watching it, but...
Yeah, I already kind of knew that one, so...
There's no nudity, but there's a hell of a lot of blood.
Yeah. Yeah, he might be able to ride his bike, but he's not ready to watch John Wick.
Parent of the year right there.
You know what? I got my priorities.
There you go. Okay, so after John Wick, we were like riding high. And so we decided we're going to watch The Raid 2. The Raid 2 is an Indonesian movie. Obviously, it's the sequel to The Raid, surprisingly. Which is The Raid Redemption. The first movie in the series is pretty much non-stop fighting. From start to finish, that movie is just one big kung fu fight all the way through. And the choreography of the fights is freaking fantastic. So going through and thinking, all right, Raid 2, more of the same. We just got done with John Wick. This is going to be awesome.
Well, and Raid 2 was done because Raid Redemption did so well that people gave more money to a guy who did a low budget film in Raid Redemption to do better. Like, so I would expect it to be way better.
You would think so.
Oh no.
I didn't hate the movie, but it was bizarre. It had, at the end, the action really stepped up. And the fighting was freaking awesome and gory. And, I mean, people got their throats pulled out with, like, the claw part of a hammer. That tells you what kind of action we're talking about. But it took fucking forever to get to that point. And they kept throwing characters in, and we'd be like, who the fuck is that? Are they good or are they bad? I mean, and they'd be fighting somebody else that was just introduced, and it's like, I don't know if the good guys are winning or the bad guys are winning. I have no idea. There's a scene where this girl is on the subway, and she's eyeballing this guy who has like an entourage around him. Don't know if the girl's good. Don't know if the guy with the entourage is good. Don't fucking know. Don't know who these people are. They weren't ever introduced. And then all of a sudden, she just pulls 2 hammers out of her bag and starts walking towards these guys. And well, at least they're going to fight. Don't know why. Don't know who the hell these people are. Don't care. There's going to be a fight with hammers. And she just beats the tar out of everybody with 2 hammers. That's works. It's crazy.
English?
Huh?
Is it in English?
We watched it with English
Subtitles?
Not subtitles, but
Or
overdubbed.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And so maybe that was distracting. Their lips moving 100 miles an hour, and then he just says yes. But the like I said, when he finally got down to the end, where he's, main character from the first movie, main character in this movie, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's a cop. He's undercover. He's the guy we're rooting for. When he starts kicking people's asses and getting into these fights, it's like, now I know what's going on.
Right.
But up to that point, I was fucking lost. I was like, I don't know who any of these people are. I don't know anything. And it's Chinese versus Japanese, and I'm sorry. It's going to sound completely racist, but I can't tell the difference. Sorry, it's just the way it is. So there's a fight going on, and like, I don't know. None of these people were introduced to me, so I don't know if these are the good guys or the bad guys. I don't know. And then I just had to wait until the main character fought them, and then I knew if they were good or bad. So, but the last half an hour, that movie fucking rocked. The 2 hours before that, total confusion.
Well, I'm just going to throw this out there, but apparently it rocked really well because Rotten Tomato has this as a 79%, and that's from the critics, and the audience score is 87%. So this thing
on the Raid too?
Yeah.
Maybe I needed to be drunk or something.
I'm just saying, man. Apparently you watched the wrong version.
Apparently, maybe I needed to watch the one with the subtitles. I don't know. But there was a guy, and he was doing this, and you're like, is he the good guy? I don't know. And then another guy was hanging out with the cop. That's the hero. And then when he goes off on his own, you're like, is he doing bad things and being underhanded, or is he still being good? I don't fucking know. And then people just show up and do stuff, and you're like, I don't know why you're in the movie. They needed shirts that says, hi, my name is bad guy number 3. It was, until they fought the main hero, that was the only way I could tell if they were good or bad. Because there was a couple of fights, you're like, I don't know if I should be rooting for anybody here. All right, that person won. I'm going to assume they were bad because they won. Okay. Right. Girl with hammers, bad. Okay, got it. But
that's funny.
So the movie was, what did it say? 150 minutes? which is 2.5 hours.
Yeah, 2.5 hours.
It felt longer. We thought seriously like this movie was 4 hours long by the time it ended.
Well, 2.5 hours is a pretty long movie to begin with.
It is a pretty long movie, and then when you're confused for most of it,
Yeah.
it makes it for a really long movie, to be honest. But enjoyed it at the end. There's one fight where he basically fights their main bodyguard, kung fu master. How they can remember all those moves and choreograph that thing was beautiful. It was artwork. It really was. There's no way two human beings could withstand the punishment that was in that fight, but it didn't matter. It was just a thing of beauty to watch. So maybe if you watch it, you can tell me what the hell the first 2 hours was about.
I'm gonna have to watch it. I have the first one.
Have you seen the first one?
I've started it and then got sidetracked with other stuff and didn't actually end up finishing it. It's one of those things that I tried to watch it at night and then ended up either falling asleep or starting to fall asleep, and so you're like, okay, I need to turn this off. I'm not going to finish it, and then never got it turned back on. So, but it is both Raid Redemption and Raid 2 are both available on Netflix. They are Flickster, iTunes, Vudu, and Amazon.
Well, definitely watch the Raid Redemption.
So, yeah.
Not only because it is the first movie, but go ahead and watch that one first. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then maybe if you watch them close together, maybe the second one makes more sense. But it was months between it. So maybe that's why I was lost. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just a racist asshole. But I was pretty much lost.
Or both.
Or both, yeah. It could be one or the other.
Well,
So
Raid Redemption scored just as high. It was 87% with the audience and 85% with the critics, with 143 reviews. And Raid 2 was 79% with 155 reviews from the critics. So those both ranked really high.
yeah, they're both good movies. The first one I think is better. The second one, I think, tried to put a bow on the overall crime that the first one alluded to.
The second one kind of fell to the common problem of sequel envy, trying to recreate the magic that happened with the first one.
Actually, I think they tried to avoid making it look like the first one. I think that's why we had 3/4 of the movie with no action.
I gotcha.
And
trying to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think they tried to not fall into a trap or something. I don't know. But the payoff is huge in Raid 2. The ending fights are just phenomenal. And, of course, the good guy wins. But that's what you expected going in. Yeah. And, yeah, so I'd recommend watching both of those. I think back-to-back would be the best way to view those. Just make sure you start early enough, because that second movie's a longie.
Yeah, I mean, first one's an hour and 40 minutes. I can probably carve out that time. Trying to carve out yeah, you're looking at what, 5 hours of movie watching there? 4 hours of movie watching?
Would you say an hour and 40?
Hour and 40 and 2.5, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 4 hours and 10 minutes.
I'm gonna have to start that early in the evening, put the kids to bed, and plan on staying up late.
That's right. Drink plenty of caffeine.
Yeah, that'll be a couple Mountain Dew night.
There you go. So that was my movie watching for the weekend.
You sure knocked out some movies, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. Yep, that's how I keep this pale complexion. Is I got no sun.
I didn't go outside at all.
Did not go outside.
We didn't open the blinds because I would have put a glare on the TV.
That's right. I felt like a vampire. It's like no sunlight. I'll just burst into flames.
Well, I've been on this TV kick, and I've been trying to find. What I've been trying to find is I've been getting up every morning when my wife goes to work out in the morning. I've been getting up and trying to do some exercises, whether it's weightlifting or riding on the stationary bike or doing something like that. But I only have about 30 minutes to really get anything done. So I've been trying to find something that I can watch that's only 30 minutes long. I don't have enough time to get through an entire episode of The Flash or some of the other stuff that I have recorded. I was looking for stuff that didn't have commercials in it because fast forwarding through commercials kind of becomes a pain when you're trying to lift weights.
First world problems right there.
Yeah, exactly. So I started, then I was like, well, you know what? At one point, I wanted to try to find some more anime that kind of that was good, that I could kind of get behind and just see what some of this is all about. So I did a little search for, basically, I just did a Google search for good anime or top anime picks or series, and found some websites that recommended some stuff. One of them that was recommended was one I'd never heard of before, called Psycho Pass. So I'm like, you know what? Let's see what this is about. So I pull up the IMDb and I read this summary. In a futuristic world where criminal intent is analyzed by the Sybil system, a new top of the class recruit, Akane something in a language I don't understand, joins the police force. However, she always puts her own sense of justice above the judgment of Sybil. Police are helped by enforcers, which are latent criminals disposed to high criminal intent, one of which is a former inspector who supports Akane's method of action. So I'm like, okay, this sounds kind of cool. You're judging people before they commit crimes, that they're going to commit crimes. You have these enforcers that are basically criminals helping out the police. Two things that I can get behind. So I'm like, you know what? Let's check this out. So I downloaded the first season of this. I found out there's only 2 seasons. They ran from 2012 through 2014. You're not looking at a whole ton of episodes. You're looking at, I think it's, of course I don't have that right now. You're looking at, give me 3, 2, 1. You're looking at about 22 episodes a season. So.
And how long is each episode, do you know?
30 minutes long. Well, actually 22.
22.
Between 22 and 25 minutes.
So this is right in your wheelhouse.
Perfectly fits. So I can watch an episode while I'm doing workouts and stuff like that. And this show is really cool. It's kind of, this movie or this TV show obviously came out post Minority Report. I don't know if this is based off of a manga or comic book series that comes from before then, but it has a very Minority Report feel to it. So basically, there's these sensors all over the world that look at your hue, is what they call it. Basically your color. It's like how you're feeling. It's almost like you're being judged by those mood stones. Like,
so they check out your aura?
Yeah, exactly. And if you start to have too many criminal thoughts, or your mood starts swaying too far out of the correct hue, then it's kind of alerted, and people go try to find you. But in the same sense, you're dealing with, I'm about halfway through the first season right now, and what each episode basically is, there's a crime that has been committed, and this police force and the enforcers that come with them they call it the Public Safety Bureau, come in and try to solve this crime and find the killer. And they are the first episode, the pilot episode. They go in and they tell you about these cool guns that they have that basically are connected directly to this Sybil system that can judge people. And if you point it at the person, it will then tell you whether or not you can use non-lethal force or lethal force.
Interesting.
So the first,
I guess that depends on how bad of a mood you're in. This guy's pissed. You better just take him out.
So here's the interesting part. You have this rookie cop that comes in. They're teamed up or partnered up with enforcers, which are basically people who were good at one time and their psychopaths basically went too far to the criminal side of it, and they are basically under control. They call them basically like watchdogs. These are the dogs that are on leashes, and when you get to a crime scene, they unleash these guys and let them go after the killers to try to track them down. It's, they're not animalistic in the sense that they don't have a thought process. These guys are smart. They're kind of the intelligent criminals, if you want to put it that way. So
why not?
Yeah, so you put these two people together, and they go off trying to find this killer. And in the pilot episode is a hostage situation where somebody was killed, and now he's taken a hostage and he's kind of run off, and so they have to kind of track him down. So they track the guy down, and at first they see, they hold their guns up to him and they say, his hue is at this level, and so non-lethal force is issued. So they go to use non-lethal force. He dodges the attack, dives behind something and runs off more, so they have to chase him farther. When they finally catch back up to him, it says, hey, you can use lethal force now on this guy. He's gone too far over the edge. He's unsavable. So they go and use lethal force on the gun, gets all kinds of crazy, gadgets pop out of it. It changes shape and uses lethal force. And this guy basically, what was it? I'm trying to think. You ever see Blade?
I did.
When they throw when Blade gets the serum that's like an anticoagulant that causes the vampires to kind of bubble up and explode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that happens when they shoot him with this gun.
Sweet, I need one of those.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, this is kind of cool. So that happens. Well, they now have saved this hostage who's still, standing there, and they hold the guns to her, and because her stress level has gone up so high because of this situation, now her hue has become it's come to the point of them using non-lethal force to basically stun her, and she's going to be captured, and put into custody because she's now out of that normal hue. And this rookie cop basically steps in and is like, wait a second, no, she just needs to calm down. And it's God, I really hate ads running in other websites. Freaking popping up and distracting me. So then now there's this big conflict between the old regime, her superior officer who's like, no, you just need to shoot her and arrest her and be done with it, and she's trying to get her to calm down, and so she ends up going, walking up to her and getting her to calm down, and then the guns say, hey, she's no longer a threat type thing. So it brings up this idea that this scan that's being done on everybody, this judgment that's being done, is it's flawed in a sense, and that sometimes common sense or a reality check is good. And I thought this was just going to be like each episode a new bad guy, a new crime to process. But they have gone through and added this interesting element of there's this person working behind the scenes that is so evil and conniving that he's convincing other people to do his murders for him. And it is like, it's gotten fun, like it's just kind of crazy. I mean, but still wrapped in enough believability that you're just going, this really could happen. You could see some of this technology. It isn't that far out there that it couldn't be done. So this last episode, the rookie cop gets to talk to somebody who's kind of left civilization, gone out on his own, because he used to be a profiler. He's a psychiatrist, and then was a criminal profiler and taught a class on profiling. However, they said to profile a criminal, you have to then think like a criminal, which makes perfect sense. Yeah. However, when you start thinking like a criminal, you start getting judged by the civil system, and you just start becoming a criminal.
Yeah, okay. I got you. A little catch-22.
Yeah, so it ended up like 50%, I think it was like 50 or 60% of the people who have taken this guy's profiling class end up getting arrested for criminal activity just because of what they were thinking.
Hey, hold on. I'll be right back.
Okay. And we pause as Kip goes and does something because he broke something. I'm going to guess his wife is being demanding.
I was leaning over the stuff they did in your dresser.
You did a nice job there.
That's not that bad.
And for those of you that are watching this live and seeing this in the background,
All right.
She looks like she slammed her head or something. Way to go, Holly. I was commentating the situation for anyone listening live, which I think we have at least 2 people.
The wife was moving some stuff around and hit her head on the dresser and cut her forehead open. And she was just kind of walking around like she was in shock. So it's like, holy shit, I better do something before she passes out.
That is awesome. That is great.
She doesn't think so. Sorry about the interlude there.
Oh, no, you're perfectly fine. Anyway, Psycho-Pass. I say go check it out. This thing is really kind of cool.
Did you see that they made a movie?
No, I did not.
It premiered in Japan on January 9th, 2015.
Oh.
I don't see anything about it being in the United States, but at least that's something to look for.
Yeah.
The film earned $137 million at the Japanese box office.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I wonder. Well, and that's kind of the thing with the way Japan does with their TV shows and movies. They're almost continuations of. So I actually kind of want to see. I want to get through the first 2 seasons, or get through these 2 seasons, and then see if I can't find that movie, even if I gotta find it subtitled. You know how much I love subtitles. Oh, and by the way, the TV show in English, and doesn't feel like it's. I don't know that if it's been completely translated and redone so that it's not like that overdub that's way off. Like, yeah. It doesn't feel like that.
Okay, cool.
you don't get the and then they talk, you know.
And you watched this off of Netflix?
No, I downloaded it.
Oh.
I acquired it through other means.
You were just borrowing it?
I was borrowing it. But I'm definitely, like, this thing is good enough that I am actually going to look to purchase it if I can find it in English.
Nice.
So, yeah. And supposedly it is I was looking through here, it was a manga in 2012 that talks about Inspector Akane Tsunemori, which
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, which is what these are about, and it's an ongoing one from 2012 to current. And then there's a manga that's about Inspector Shina Kagome, which is her enforcer partner, which started in 2014 and is ongoing. So, if you want to read some manga, that's definitely out there.
Very cool.
So yeah,
I'm definitely going to check this bad boy out. Maybe I can even find the movie.
Yeah, I think this thing's kind of cool. If you liked Minority Report, I would check this out. If you are not against an animation style that doesn't look like it's from the United States, I would check this out. Now, you don't have the humongous eyes, you don't have the, these are very realistic looking people, so, you can, if Japanese animation is not your thing, you could probably still watch this. However, there's gonna be some things that you're gonna see in here that you're like, oh yeah, that is definitely something from Japan.
Gotcha. Well, if you're watching anime, you should just go to expect that. So if you're if you're surprised by it, welcome to the world. Where have you been?
Yeah, exactly. So check it out. It's pretty good. I liked it.
Excelente.
I like that. So, we've spent enough time. We spent a lot of time here. Jesus, we've spent a lot of time talking about all this other stuff. Do we want to? We've almost gone our full time here, Mr. Kip. Do we want to go into our next topic? Or do we want to save it for next week?
I think we should save that bad boy so we can give it its full time.
Yeah, because it is definitely a major topic, and you know what? I might even talk to a guest and possibly get a guest on to talk about this. So what we'll do is we'll pull a little teaser here. A little teaser for next week.
Hell yeah.
You guys have all heard the news about Gen Con. You've heard, if you haven't, the news is that a bill was passed. Senate Bill number 101 was passed in Indiana. And it's basically what it is a state Religious Freedom Restoration Act. Indiana's not the first state to pass this, but the big news came out was that Gen Con is against this bill and believes that it's discriminatory. And Gen Con brings in a ton of money for the Indianapolis area, and they're threatening to, or I don't know that they're threatening. I think they're just saying that they might not renew their contract or might look at terminating their contract with their convention in the state of Indiana. So,
which really wouldn't affect anybody until 2021.
If they don't pull out and cancel pre, I mean that's the big thing. Obviously, they're not going to be able to cancel this year for 2015. The convention is held in what, August?
Yes.
I know people are like, well, that's still 5 months away. Yeah, a convention this size, you cannot just relocate in this short period of time. So I'm going to say that the earliest that you're going to see this thing moved would be 2016. But still, even if they were to go through their contract, that you're going to take, you've got to Gen Con says their economic impact is more than $50 million to the city of Indianapolis. So that's a lot of chunk of change.
That's a big sum of money, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, 50 million, is that what they said?
That's what it says in the letter.
That's like
I've heard
$1,000 a person.
Yeah, I've heard upwards of even more than that too. So I mean, if you think about all the people holding booths, and then all the visitors, and then all the sponsors and all that stuff, I mean, it's a massive chunk of change. No arguments there. But this has gotten a lot of news on through local circles or through the world circles. But we will spend some time on this next week, and we'll give it its full attention. We spend a lot of time on other stuff. Next week, maybe we'll devote the whole time to this, and if I can get I will see if I can get a political science expert, or at least somebody with a political science degree, to come on and talk about this.
Excellent. Somebody who's actually smart instead of us.
Yeah. And maybe he can, maybe he can tell us which way we're supposed to actually think about this, and maybe he'll shed some light on this, on why politicians keep doing this stuff. So, anyway,
very cool. So tune in next week and get smart.
Save that for next week, and we will have an intelligent, serious conversation instead of one about things like Dracula and killing people and getting judged.
Right.
Yeah. So, anyway, you guys can go check us out on our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. Stay tuned to there. I am actually looking at writing a review of a comic book to go up there, a comic book series.
Whoa!
I know. It's a shock. But I'm in the process of writing it. Maybe when I get it written, it'll go up there. You can also follow us on Google Plus and Facebook. Just search for Geek Vice. You can find us on Twitter. You can find that guy over there, Kip, at Kip Killigan. You can find me at Geek Vice. So go follow us on Twitter. You can see all the worthless things we post, and you'll see when we're... if I get this guest on for next week, I will put it on Twitter, so you'll know about it before anyone else. Follow us on Twitter.
Yes.
So any last words, Mr. Kip?
You're getting ready to write a comic book series review. I've almost finished a comic book series, or at least caught up. So maybe I'll do the same, and we can discuss that in a future episode.
Oh.
Because believe it or not, I'm actually reading a comic book series.
What series are you reading?
Saga.
Oh, you are reading Saga. Then we should talk about that in a future episode.
We should talk about that, yes.
So here we go, everybody. Now you know 2 episode topics coming up. Gen Con and Discrimination, and Saga by Brian K. Vaughan.
Excellent. That wasn't the series you were writing about, was it?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Mine.
I want to steal your thunder.
I would love to tell you more. I can tell you that it is a series called Hexed, and goddamn stupid pop-ups, go away.
Well, if you didn't have Windows 95, you wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah, no kidding. It's, believe it or not, it was the White House page. Was it actually, what is it, the White House? No, the Washington Times.
So the NSA is now watching you. All right.
Yeah, exactly. The comic book that I'm working on writing a review for is called Hexed. It is by Michael Allen Nelson, and it is by Boom Studios.
Sweet. Looking forward to it.
It is really good and very mystical and magic-y. So
nice.
Look for that to come. Anything else you got for us?
Negatory. All done.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening to our ramblings. If you want to comment on any of the topics we discussed tonight, like, John Wick, and that it's really not that good of a movie, and Kip's opinion sucks, and that Raid 2 is really amazing and you don't understand why Kip has no clue what he's doing. Or if you've got some other suggestions of anime that I should be checking out, send an email to geekvice@gmail.com, and we will talk to you next week.
See ya!
Later.